Hello, everybody. Welcome back. You all know what time it is. Check your clock. It's time for art. I'm your host, Hershey Petty. And what is time for art? We are a fun and engaging and easy to follow art lesson that is taught twice a week right here on our Facebook page live. And if you don't have time for art when we go live, no problems. All these videos are available on our YouTube and our Facebook channel the moment they're done. We upload them right away. So you can enjoy this lesson anytime you have time for art. Let's see if you guys are ready to learn today the coolest tips and tricks as we learn to draw the first of our 3 paintings this month. We're gonna be, I don't know if you can see this, we're gonna be doing the Portea flower. So go ahead and get out your references. It's a draw day. It's Monday. So you're only going to need the stuff that you need to draw. So your art journals, your transfer paper, your references, and then your pencils and erasers. All right. So, you're welcome to draw along with our artist. She's going to show us how to easily approach any drawing that you want using our grids that you have that came with your kit. So get all that out, get ready to go. We're super excited. Let's see what Allison is up to. Hello, Al.
Hey, Hershey, how are you?
I am good, thank you. And yourself?
Fantastic. And we were just catching up. Hershey's rescue puppy is doing so well.
He is. He's the best dog ever. He's so friendly. He's so nice. He's so gentle. He's so great.
What a guy. I love it. I'm so, yeah, we want to make sure he gets to keep him. He might not get to, but that's how we want it to go. So today we're drawing the Protea. That's this guy. Make sure you have your grid out. Make sure you have your sketchbook out. Make sure you have your transfer paper out. And everybody knows Monday draw days are my favorite days. And I think
why is that, Al?
Because it's just, well, one, I could sit and draw forever. It's like a puzzle. It's figuring out space. And it's, you always get better every time you do a disciplined drawing, which is what this is. And we also don't get too worked up about it, but every time you do, a really disciplined drawing where you're going for a certain degree of accuracy, you get better. And I just think it's less moving parts, Yeah. We do a lot here at Time for Art and we love that. But, it's just, we sit and relax and figure it out and everybody draws together. And I think everybody has a lot of success and it's my favorite. What's your favorite, Hershey?
100% draw days.
100% draw days. I love it. All right, so I'm just going to
feels like the icing on the cake after you learn to draw.
I love to paint, so don't get me wrong. It's all about painting here, but it's just there's something just kind of like we're gonna draw today, and it's my favorite. Okay, so I just secured our transparency grid to my sketchbook. And I'm going to tuck underneath waxy, shiny, sticky side down our graphite paper, just like that. And all I'm going to do is lightly imprint on all of the crosshairs, starting in the corner, working your way down. So that we have the beginnings of our grid. Take this off, pull off our label, done there. I'm gonna go back over here, leave it right there. Now, any straight edge will work. I'm just using a journal page.
Okay.
And we're gonna connect our lines just on the outside. Don't go on the inside.
Oh, I haven't. I have the last line of Succession for the my series, The House of Windsor.
Yes,
Prince George.
Oh, Prince George, you look darling. Your portraiture is next level.
I'm really working on it. So I love drawing days.
I love draw days too. And that's a really good example. If you are drawing anything exciting, we want to see it.
Yes.
It's real, if it's surreal, if it is stylized, if it's like Hershey's doing where he's doing these really disciplined.
House of Windsor.
House of Windsor. Down to absolutely darling Prince George. We want to see it. Okay, so and then if you want to kind of lighten up, sometimes I do this. So we don't want these to take up a whole lot of these 4 marks in the middle. They're just there to help you, but you know where there they are. So I just kind of soften these guys so they're kind of easy to draw over the feature. Okay. And so what we do is we keep this here and we're going to pull it on and off. But the idea is we kind of use this grid and these markings that we have right here to give us more reference points to draw from. And so some things I like to start with, and on this one, because it's just one central image in the middle, I think I'm actually going to kind of work with the perimeter and work with the core and do some comparisons there, and then we'll get all these petals in. Okay. So the first kind of piece of negative space I'm going to work with right here is this kind of corner that's missing in this region right here, this kind of lower center region. And if you look, it's maybe a quarter up the wall, so to speak, if this were a wall.
I think this might be the first portrait
of a flower
orientation that we're doing.
Really?
I think we always do landscape.
Really? We have more portraits coming in the future, I can tell you that. So you're not. All right. So, and this is very much a portrait of a flower. You can take a portrait of anything. Oftentimes it's people, but this is very much a portrait of a flower. So, all right. So this kind of sits in just like this. So that's a very good, we have kind of all the pieces of our puzzle right here. Very easy. That's where we're going to start. Just like that. And it's kind of missing a little piece right here. Over here, if this were to cut in half, it's just a smidge over the halfway point. And that's this really cool, clean line that snakes around and down like that. Like that. Over here, I'm going to start up here. We're about, I don't know, a quarter of the way in here, about 3/4 of the way up. This mark comes out around, down, around like this, just like that. We're a little tight over here. Again, how important is that? Not very, but if you can be more accurate, you might as well make the adjustment. If if you see it, I think I'm up a little high here. I think this is probably right about there. This kind of negative space, this ends right before the halfway point. So if the halfway point's here, it ends about right here. And it's going to kind of jog right a little bit and jog left, just like that. So we have this in just like that. Up here, if we look at this negative space, it's going to start and it's going to kind of end right here. So this line kind of comes down over and around like that. And then down this way and kind of over here. This all sits above the halfway point. This kind of ends at the halfway point. So just like that. This comes up over and down this way. Our halfway point's right about here. I'd say this kind of V right here picks up and over here. And then over here, we're kind of starting at the 3/4 point, comes down like that. Look at the negative space. It's not quite what I wanted. More like this. Over here, this is.
I want to say hello to Ruth real quick. She's active in the chat.
Hello, right, hi. Thanks for drawing with us today.
Yes.
This comes up over. We're a little wide. This is going to cross right here at the 1/3 part. Up, over, down right here. And then in this region, we're going to kind of combine these. Comes down around like this, up and over like this. And I'm going to kind of pay attention to this negative space right here, down like that.
Hello, Cheryl. Hi, Cheryl.
Hi, Cheryl. All right, so that is the outline, the cookie cutter of our Protea. Now, next thing we're going to do is this kind of egg shape right here and kind of figure out where that goes. So over here, it kind of begins at the 1/3 mark, which I'm going to call right here. And over here, it also kind of begins at the 1/3 mark, but in a little bit.
This is like the darker area.
The darker area that I'm calling the egg.
Okay.
Kind of like a Fabergé egg.
Mm-hmm.
It's like kind of coming out of this. And then I'm kind of up 2/3 and it's going to kind of end in this region right here. And we're going to put in our egg. Just like that.
Okay.
And then in the same region underneath, I'm going to count, there is some of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 petals. So I'm going to start with these kind of center 4, 7 if we count this little guy right here. But we're going to start with these center 4 and then we're going to add these 2. So starting with this one kind of begins and ends right here. I'm going to come over on this side. This one kind of comes up, begins and ends down here. This one goes kind of wide and kind of ends just off center over here. So like this. This one comes up high and over like that. Just like that. This one comes up and down, sort of like that. This one we're catching on the way up, kind of comes to its peak right here. And then there's this little guy that peaks up right around here and crosses that plane. So there we have it. That's our interior.
All right.
All right. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm actually going to jump down here and kind of put in this next layer of things. I want all the kind of big joints, so to speak.
Yes.
So let's come down a region and let's kind of put in, I'm working on, instead of doing this whole region, I'm going to do this line. So that's down here. These are my 2 marks there. So this one kind of starts up 1/3, let's say, just like that. And it's going to end at just right of the halfway point. And this kind of does that. Over here, we have just a little of this bottom leaf peeking up in kind of the 1/4 mark of this region. So that's going to come over here. Over here, we have this mark right here that's kind of 1/3 over, 1/4 up, we'll say, in this region. And it starts at this mark we made before, which is right here. And this kind of slinks down like that. And then so that comes to here. Just because it's so high contrast, we can drop in that line right there. It comes almost straight down. And then this line right here comes over and down like this. Over here, this kind of apostrophe shape is kind of the shape it makes around this way. And then this line right here, we can mark it off on the already exterior we had. So we can go about maybe 1/8 of the way down. And then I'm just going to follow, I know where it begins. It's going to end right here. And I'm just going to kind of follow this line over, down, and around like that. Just like that. So we now have where the center of our protea is, where the majority of the lines end up. We can get in this guy too. This is this really fun shape that's almost like a thorn that comes down. So if this is the center, this ends, so this is our region. If this is the center, it kind of ends right here. And this kind of comes, wiggles up like this, wiggles over like this. Got to get a little tighter in here. That's our shape right there. And I'm just kind of gonna finesse this a minute. Maybe yours doesn't need it, mine does.
Can you hear Roscoe chewing on his bone?
Oh, does he like it?
Loves it. I hope it's not distracting.
I can't hear Roscoe. I
Okay.
can't. Marvin doesn't like bones or toys.
Yeah.
So there's that. That's not gonna be something you hear here. Okay. So I think the next thing we're going to put in is this kind of red area that's our shadow, that kind of represents our shadow. Also, if we want to talk about this, this is kind of both stylized and painterly. Definitely stylized because it's very reduced, but stylized in a way that you see the linear quality. But those are brush strokes and they're not overly tight. So this kind of comes around. Again, we're working in this region right here. This comes around like this and kind of ends where this line would be. Just like that, and it overlaps.
So Allison, Cheryl wrote in right now and she said that she actually drew this today and she was asking herself, she says, where would Allison direct us to draw first? So she channeled you and she attempted to draw the shapes with an eye to the whole first, as she writes, holistically.
I could not be more moved.
I like that, holistically.
Holistically. And how close is it to how we started?
Yeah, how'd you do? How'd you do, girl?
Are we matching up?
Yeah. How are we doing?
How are we doing is a better question. Exactly. Okay, so right here at almost the center mark right here is kind of where these red areas come together. So if this is our center, kind of right about here, and it's got this little fin that kind of comes up, down, around like this, and then kind of comes up and over and kind of just follows this mark up like this. So that's that. And then it should be right on this line. So this kind of comes over about to here. And then we're just going to kind of come over and follow this shape up like that. So we almost have our whole red line, and the only part that we don't have in is this part. And that's right around this region right here. So that's this part right here. And this really fun little squiggle comes around kind of like this. And this comes down like that. And I drew it from the wrong mark. It should have been from here. Sometimes you do that.
Cheryl, I think, is being modest. She said she didn't do too bad. I'd be curious to see that in our subscriber group.
Can't wait to
that is for her.
Yes, yeah. How not bad is.
Yeah.
Oh, and that's my light. This is my favorite, not favorite light. It's such a good light. It just, you cough on the cord, it comes undone. And yeah, that's that. Okay, so let's kind of get all of our big blinds in down here. Over here, and we stay in this region right here. We get this shape right here. I'm just going to put it in. And it comes around, down, up and over here. Same thing around here. Over here, we get this shape that comes over and down. This kind of runs into this line. If it was there right here, just like that. This shape right here we have most of, so we're just going to take this line kind of over and up like this. This shape right here needs this side. So if you come up and around and over this way, we're just going to kind of come around. If this were our line, it ends on here. So we're going to let that be our guide. Take it around and down this way. Just like that. We come up and over. I'm going to put in this line right here. Starts here, it ends here, and it kind of crosses right here. And then we have this shape, this kind of cut out of our dark shape right here, just like this. This kind of comes out and around this way. This shape right here has a little more negative space missing. We'll do a better job of that. Everyone sees how much we erase here. You don't necessarily ever get it on the first try. This comes around like this, makes this a little wider. Just like that. And then, last but not least, we're gonna do our petals. I'm just gonna, now that we have our leaves in, I'm just gonna kind of look at some of these widths and see where I kind of want to course correct. I'm a little wide right here. I'm gonna kind of come in like that. I'm about right in here. Here.
Yeah, Cheryl said she had a hard time keeping her eye on the right petal, and I can empathize with that right now.
I, especially when I do botanicals, name them. Like
that's smart. Yeah.
Because you just, or A, B, C, D, like you just, it's very, very difficult.
Yep.
Botanicals are tricky, but I think they're some of the most beautiful forms in the world, let alone nature.
Agreed.
This looks about right here. This looks about right here. Okay. And so what I've found is it's a very good one. And that's my light. Again, okay. It's a very good one to do with our grids. Okay, so I'm just going to re-emphasize where our grids are because I've been doing a good job of erasing them as I go. 2, 2. Okay. So that's a grid mark. Get rid of this one. So it's confusing. Everyone see our center grid points again? Okay. So well, let's start with this region right here because there's just not that many. There is this petal right here. Kind of comes, there's a kind of a backup line right here. And this petal right here starts right there. So that's what goes here. Let's go up. We have this front petal, which kind of comes up like this, makes a rounder shape like this. Just like that. We have this petal right here that comes up and down like that. We have this one here that we get a little bit of this wider line right there. And then it comes over and down like this. And then this comes around like that. So that's these petals right here. So check these two regions off petal wise. Let's go to the other side right now. All right. This petal right here gets this sort of cupping petal on this side that comes around like this. I went too far. Down here, there's this petal right here that kind of starts down here and crosses on the line right there. Kind of ends right here. Anything, mine's a little high. And this comes a little lower. Like that. There's these 3 right here. I'm going to start with the front one. This one starts about 1/4 over, and if you look, it crosses with our egg. Comes up, over and down like this. Over here, this comes up and down like this. This comes up and over like that. So that's our 3. And the tippy top one kind of goes more in than the way I made it. So I'm fixing that. All right. Then we have this back one right here that's already in. That's this one right here. So this one comes up and over kind of like that. And then this one comes down. That's this one right here that we already put in like that. So we have north of this line etched in. We'll get these back petals in a minute, but let's get these interior ones. All right. This region right here is going to get this petal. I'm going to start with this front one. Okay. Starts right here, comes up, over, down like this. This one that we already started continues down like this. This one continues down like this. This one comes up, doesn't quite catch the top, over, and would cross this line if we had one.
Hello, Michelle Poor. Hello.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. Then this guy down here comes up and over like this, and we'll finish up in this region. So we'll let it go. And this one also kind of finishes right where this one starts. So we're going to go ahead and put that one in. So we've got this side in.
All right.
I'm going to come back over to this far side, and in the middle, I'm going to do last. So if we start over here, we got this in. Let's just work our way over from other, because we got this part in. So this petal is going to begin and end about a little over halfway up. So this comes over and kind of ends right here. This comes over this way. This petal right here comes up, over, down like that. So that's right here. This one is going to finish kind of, it looks like the 1/3 point. So about here. So over and down like this. Same thing here. This one that we started up here is going to come over and down like this. This one's going to come over and down like this. This petal right here, that's almost the first one. There's another layer down here, but the first one kind of in the middle. It's kind of in the middle of this one. So it comes up, over, and down here. Up, over, and down here. So that's that middle petal. This little fin that we've been working with here is where we're going to drop this petal in. Over and down right here. And then this one is going to come up, over, and down right there. So those are all these petals. And then last but certainly not least are these petals up here. And I think I'm going to let the outline that we started kind of help us out here. So I'm going to start with this one, and I'm going to go on this side of the red line. So this one comes over and down like this. This one comes over and down like this. The red lines kind of follow. We're going to put those in. This one comes up, over, and like that. like this that comes to this is kind of that guy in the middle. There's a little bit of negative space here, which is super cool that I'm going to put in. Little sliver. And then what's left, do you see it? This little sliver right there kind of goes in like this. I kind of took it too far. And then this last petal up, over, and down like that. And there's our Protea.
There we go. It's
no
really
rest for the wicked, right? It's kind of a tricky one.
Yeah.
All right. Restretch. And
let's do it.
I'm gonna fill in all the darkest areas first. Hershey, what are the darkest areas?
Well, definitely the egg. And like I don't know, just like the outside of the shell.
Yeah. Yeah. Kind of all of our cranberry areas.
Yeah.
So here is
I really like this one because, you know, the drawing is going to be so specific, and the painting, we're just going to be kind of like,
oh yeah,
you know, moving colors around.
Well, right in place.
Yep.
We're going to talk about texture with this one. It doesn't really show in the reproduction, but there's a really textured, like sort of light on dark background, and I really like this one for that. Okay, so I'm going to fill in these kind of dark areas around here. This one looks kind of like this. And this one around this negative space. Kind of comes up like this shape kind of around here, over and down like that. This one kind of comes around. I'm actually gonna lose this for now. It's kind of getting in my way. That's why we do transparency grids. You can ditch them whenever you want. Did. That's kind of gonna come around here. This whole area is kind of in darkness. But every time you do a tricky drawing, breathe in a little fresh air. It was a huge challenge. It made you a better artist. The more accurately you can draw, the more you can take on.
That's the
never, ever need to draw accurately again if you want to be stylized or impressionistic or more intuitive and abstract. All of that is without a doubt welcome. Awesome. Do it. The more accurately you can draw, the more confident you are to take on anything you need. It's just a good.
It's really drawing is like that's the skill that helps you become a better painter 100%.
Yeah, and it's just a good foundation, and then you can kind of try and figure out how other people might have done it. Right here, it was sort of to the left of our petals. I'm going to fill that in. Fill this in. Fill this in. This one's almost completely dark. Up over. And kind of down right here.
Allison, look, I put a Protea flower behind me.
Patty. Oh, amazing. Where did you find that?
I Googled it real quick.
Oh, I love it.
I do too.
Full of surprises, Hershey Petty, I tell ya. Up over and down this way. This pretty much whole petal. Right here, I made that line right there.
What colors are we going to use on Wednesday for this? And should any of us out there be priming our canvas panel beforehand?
I would say by priming it, they come pre-primed. I think this one's a pretty easy one. Hershey, refresh me on which paints we sent this month.
Mine are all mixed in as well.
I don't have it out. It's
magenta, We had cerulean,
Nope.
burnt umber, yellow
Nope.
ochre.
Nope.
Nope. I thought we had all the like, we definitely had like a red, a blue, a yellow.
I think this is just the red and no, then it is. It's the
And green.
cerulean yellow and the red.
Yep.
I'll have to look. We'll let you know.
Yeah. Bring them all.
I have been working on our next batch of kits tirelessly. And yeah, I'm not quite as plugged in to which colors we're using this week.
Yeah, ditto.
But
We'll figure it out.
we'll figure it out. I promise you I know.
We're color mixers here, so
Color mixers here. I can look it up. I can look it up in a second. But yeah.
you wouldn't paint the background ahead of time or anything?
No.
Okay.
We'll show you.
Yep.
There's a little bit of a background treatment we're gonna do. I'm just filling in this area down through here that we so carefully drew in. Now, if you want to transfer ahead of time, that's always a good idea.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Hey, so Ruth actually got one of her friends here in Tucson to like Time for Art. So, or she accepted an invitation to like Time for Art. So Linda, if you're out there, we welcome to the community and we hope that you're at home drawing somewhere.
Yes. And if you'd like to subscribe for materials,
Yep.
go to our website. Always invite everyone to our live streams. Always, always, always. They're for everyone. Do you want to follow along with the materials you have? By all means. All right, so I've got in my darks. I'm going to say my next area of darks. I'm going to go with the leaves in here. Fill in this guy right here. And a shout out to everyone who's referred us. We absolutely love it. We couldn't be more flattered. Thank you so much.
That is really sweet.
And there's some really exciting things coming. So our next batch is very much kind of the 2.0. I think everyone's gonna like it. We've learned a little bit in our time here. Okay, the next thing is, if you look at all of these up here, I'm just gonna kind of darken all of these areas. Notice I'm actually doing our background last.
Yeah.
That is rare. And so I'm going to kind of come around here. This whole area is kind of that same sort of darker value, not the darkest, but darker value. And I'm going to tell you why. Our darks, it's a little bit darker than the tone of our paper, but not a lot. And I don't want to get too dark, so I'm going to do it last.
Okay. That's
and
smart.
then, yeah, in this instance, we almost never do it, but you know, never say never. Over here, this is kind of our darker value. On this petal, it's on this side. On this petal, it's on this side. On this petal. This petal, it's darker. Over here. Around here. Then they get kind of darker down here again. Just like that. This is a little bit darker. Not a whole lot. Around here. Any place that's looking a little too stark, I'm going back in and seeing if it really should be that light.
Same. That's exactly what I'm doing right now.
And then in all of my really dark areas, if you've got like little pockets of light, just because you kind of scratched it in quickly before, like I did, I'm gonna kind of go back in and fill in those because this is so stylized and kind of linear. I feel like it really stands out if that's kind of interrupted, those regions of value.
Oh, wow. I looked up all of a sudden and yours is incredible.
Thank you, Hershey. I love it when we all have our heads down and we're working
Yeah.
and we're kind of in the zone. I feel the energy, like we're not all in the same room, but I feel the energy when everybody's working.
This is my favorite time to draw.
Yeah. And if anyone would like to make a referral, now is a good time because our September, October, November, December, it's a really fun group of paintings. I'm really excited about it. And there's some new accessories that we're including that I'm so excited about. And
Hey.
it'll look a little different, but really fun.
You want referrals for?
This next one, anyone who's it's a fun, we're making some big adjustments in our September box. So
Okay.
I'll let you know the last time to subscribe for that. And then just keep in mind, we meet 8 times a month. You certainly don't have to come to everything. Everything's available immediately after it's done. $40 a month, roughly. You subscribe. And lots of fun. All right, I'm going to go ahead and fill in the background now. And it's just a little bit lighter, a little bit darker. And I'm doing this really so that our highlights pop.
Okay, I got you. You're going to make it just a little bit darker so that the highlights on the edge of those petals
pop.
I hear you. Smart.
Exactly. And then I'm actually going to work reductively and go in with my eraser.
Ooh.
So working in an additive way is making marks. Working reductively is taking marks away.
Mm-hmm. So satisfying.
Right?
Seeing everything come together. Like that feeling after you've done your first wash in of color, and you're like, this is definitely not what I wanted to look like. and then you start building up layer and layer and layer. And next thing you know, you're like, man, I'm really proud.
What I make. Yeah. I think I might steal, with Cheryl's permission, working holistically.
Isn't that funny?
I think
it was so great.
I think we need that for our branding.
Yeah, we do. Cheryl is so clever.
So clever. Let me tell you, spend even more time with Cheryl.
Yeah, I bet.
All right, so I'm just going to kind of reinforce our borders here. And I'm doing that just because it's such a light background. But I like to see where my stuff begins and ends when it's this subtle.
You got to frame your work.
Exactly. All right. And then I'm going to sign this guy. And we're wrapping up at the kind of the 45-minute mark, which is good for a draw day.
Yep.
I feel like this one was a challenge though.
This one is going to take me a little bit before I'm like sold that it's finished.
Yeah, I hear you.
Yep. Look at
Last
that.
week we did baby turtles, one of my favorites. Today we did kind of a very detailed but simple protea. We're going to paint the protea Wednesday, and I can assure you it is going to be a fun one. We were going to look up what paints you need. Just a sec. You just need the magenta and the sap green.
You know what? I knew, I was looking at that paint. I'm like, I know, I bet you this is a two color painting.
It's two color painting. It's the magenta and the sap green. That's it.
Awesome. Awesome.
So those are the two. I was wondering if we somehow mixed our own green, but we didn't for this one. So it's just the magenta and the sap green.
Okay.
And we're excited to paint with you Wednesday. Thank you so much for drawing with us today.
Yep.
And yeah, we'll see you then. Take care, everybody.
Bye, Al. Bye, everybody.
Hershey. Bye, everybody.